Cause Haley Steinfeld is bringing Transformers back to life. Cause Michael Bay just sucks and he doesn't know what Transformers is. Cause Haley Steinfeld is bringing Transformers back to life. I don't know why these Michael Bay movies exist. This movie should be the real Transformers. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Tears here, and welcome back to another review. And I am finally, I have been waiting to talk about this movie for as long as I can imagine. So yeah, I am here today to review the movie that saved the Transformers, that brought Transformers back to life. Just like what the end credit song title says. I'm here today to review Bumblebee. So Bumblebee came out in the year 2018 and is the fifth live action, the sixth Transformers live action movie and the prequel to Michael Bay's Transformers movies, and this directed by Travis Knight. Yep, not Michael Bay, Travis Knight, the same director that made Kubo and the Two Strings, the greatest stop motion movie ever made, until Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio topped it. So Bumblebee tells, so the film stars Haley Steinfeld, one of the greatest actresses of all time, by the way. George Leonberg Jr., Leonberg, I don't know how to pronounce his name, John Cena, Jason Drucker, Pamela Anderson, Stephen Schneider, John Ortiz, etc. So Bumblebee tells the story as starting with the fall of Cybertron, where Optimus Prime sends Bumblebee sends Bumblebee to Earth to be able to find out if it's a safe base for the Autobots to hide from the Decepticons. And while there, Optimus just gets caught in a government attack, as he's being attacked by the government led by John Cena's character Agent Byrne. Meanwhile, but suddenly then the Bumblebee, being transformed to a car, gets taken into a shop, and the shop turns out to be the uncle of the main character, of our main human character, Charlie Watson, played by Haley Steinfeld. And so Charlie Watson takes the car, and then she finds out that the car is actually Bumblebee, and so she actually becomes friends with Bumblebee, and was pretty much get to know who Bumblebee is. And Bumblebee learns that the humans can be kind, but of course we got the cruel humans, the government, and Haley Steinfeld has such a personal, a very tragic and personal life ever since her father died. So Bumblebee is pretty much there to keep her company. But when the government, tries to attack Bumblebee, tries to destroy Bumblebee, pretty much, Charlie Watson must protect Bumblebee, and then we see two Decepticons coming in to search for Optimus Prime and destroy the world. So yeah, you know what happens. Saving the world is. So yeah, I'm sure we all know how bad these Michael Bay Transformers movies are. Michael Bay clearly does not give a crap about Transformers. He just wants to make them for money. I mean, the first movie was great. The first movie is considered good, I guess, maybe because it didn't have too much Michael Bay interference. Although to me personally, I think the first Transformers movie from 2007 is overrated. Yeah, overrated. Yeah, I am not a fan of that Transformers movie. I think it is. You probably know the reasons why, and I don't get why people like that movie so much. It's it's overrated, and people say this movie is better than Bumblebee. Are you serious? I mean, that movie does nothing better than Bumblebee. Yeah, sure, it is watchable, I guess, and it doesn't have the typical Michael Bay stuff, but as a movie on its own, yeah, it's just kind of boring and stuff. I even think the 1980s animated Transformers movies is overrated. There, I said it, but it is better than it is at least better than the Michael Bay Transformers movies, but I think it's just very mediocre. Even Dark of the Moon is better than the animated one. Yeah, Dark of the Moon was my favorite Transformers movie before this movie came out. And of course, we got three real stinkers in the franchise. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which is still to this day my least favorite Transformers movie. You got Age of Extinction, which should have got made the franchise go extinct. And then the last night, the most hated Transformers movie area. Even though I don't think it's the absolute worst like the people say, because there were like some potential that just were just thrown out of the water. Specifically with Isabella being a very interesting character. If only the movie didn't waste her later on, like 1 hour in. Yeah, it could have been a good movie. There is a good movie somewhere in the last time, but it just turned. It was just. Ugh. So yeah, at this point, I was wondering, what can Transformers do? I mean, can Transformers get good? That there is even a Transformers 6 and 7 in the works, and because of how badly the last night performed, Michael Bay decided to cancel his Transformers film, and it's like, okay, I'm officially done making Transformers. The only reason he made the last night is because Age of Extinction made $1 billion at the box office, which is kind of a shame. It's the highest grossing movie of 2014. So when they made Bumblebee, not the first live action Transformers movie to not be directed by Michael Bay, and to actually have a good director, the same guy as Kubo and the Two Strings. I'm sure, yeah, people had some hope for this movie, some hope that this movie can bring Transformers, can save the Transformers franchise, and have no control from Michael Bay, and the trailer did show up promise. The trailer it promised as a very heartwarming girl and his creatures, the human and creature relationship storyline. Like, you may have seen this before, but well, we'll talk about that later on. You may have seen this before, but it's just yeah. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. But it did look promising because it actually looks like a real Transformers movie that has passion put into it. But I wasn't really 100% on board with it. I was thinking, what if this is this is Transformers. I mean, would this actually be that good? But I think the trailer that the time when I was really on board with this movie is the second trailer. I mean, that trailer is amazing, and without a doubt the best Transformers movies. I mean, trailer. All the Transformers movies had really good trailers. It's even the worst ones had good trailers. But Bumblebee trailer 2 is the best of these trailers. It just looks epic. It really like saying, okay, it's impossible for this movie to suck. There's no way it can. And then the movie received a 100% of Rotten Tomatoes when it came out, and I was shocked to see the critics love this movie. The critics, this movie getting the critical acclaim it should have, with a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. And unfortunately, I saw this movie late Unfortunately, I couldn't see it in December. I saw this movie in January. Well, at least I got to see from at least I got to watch this movie for my 14th birthday. Well, great movie, and yeah, so yeah, but I'm kind of not surprised because most December movies would usually release in January due to the film festival thing, whatever you call it, local film festival in my country. And they usually show at least 1 or 2 blockbusters in December, which in that case, Aquaman and Spider-Verse were the December movies, and then we had this and Mary Poppins Returns come out in January. And now let's talk about my thoughts on the movie, on Bumblebee, my opinion on it, and yeah. And I rewatched it on Paramount Plus today. I'll start by saying it sucks that I didn't rewatch this movie enough, because this series have far more rewatches. No joke, guys. I only rewatched this movie 3 times, or I think 3 or 4 times. And I think this movie, this series, far more rewatches, because I think on this rewatch, this movie just got better, because saying Bumblebee is the best Transformers movie is an understatement. because you can easily say this is the best Transformers movie, but I heard some reviews calling this people calling this movie overrated and saying that this movie is too safe. There's not much action. It's too much just human drama. It's too kiddie and stuff. Like, really, guys? Like, I heard people criticize the Michael Bay movies for being too adulty. Yet this one's being too kid friendly at you and lighthearted. It's a problem. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean, do you guys actually know what makes a good Transformers movie? Bumblebee does so good. Yeah, this not only is this the best Transformers movie, but this might be now in my top 20 or 25 favorite movies of all time. I am going that far. Yep, it is that good. And when it comes to my best movies of 2018 list, I actually put this movie above Incredibles 2 now, and I even put this above Mission Impossible Fallout. Yeah, this is my favorite. This is now officially my favorite Paramount movie of 2018. My favorite Paramount movie of the last decade, and my second favorite movie from Paramount overall, second only behind obviously Scream 6. This is the greatest movie based on a cartoon, period. Yeah, based on a toy cartoon. Yeah, period. I mean, I'd even prefer this. This movie is better than SpongeBob SquarePants movie. It's better than the Simpsons movie. It's better than all the SpongeBob movies. It's better than the Simpsons movie. Yeah, and even Shaun the Sheep movie, which is my favorite animated film of 2015. There is that's how much I praise this movie to death. It is masterpiece. Although, yeah, I'm not sure if I would really put this above Mission Impossible Fallout. I'll have to rethink it one because I'm about to rewatch Mission Impossible Fallout on June 2. No, I mean on July before Fallout. Maybe it could take its place back as the best Paramount movie 2018. But for now, I'm gonna say Bumblebee. This is as far as best movies 2018 goes, I would say this movie is in my top 4. The movies the place above Bumblebee, Infinity War. I would say Infinity War, Spider-Verse, and Black Panther are my top 3, and then Bumblebee comes in at number 4. But yeah, this movie is just amazing, and I know people will be like, "Oh, you're overpraising this movie just because Haley Steinfeld's in here. It's overrated." Now, I mean, yeah, you guys a valid points, but I don't care. Yeah, like what I said, Haley Steinfeld was the one that saved the Transformers franchise. But there are other like great things about this movie. But yeah, from start to finish, this movie just left a huge smile on my face, giving me not just a huge smile on my face, but this movie is also emotional as well. Like, yeah, wow. Well, I'll talk about that later. Like, yeah, but this movie from start to finish is just perfect. To me, this is a perfect movie, and there was never a dull scene throughout the movie. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention as well, this movie came out the same day as Aquaman, the billion-dollar making movie, and I gotta say, this movie puts Aquaman to shame because yeah, if I was in the US and I watched this and Aquaman first, well, with that mindset I had, I would have watched Aquaman first, but I would have said Bumblebee's better because yeah, but yeah, it kind of sucks. It sucks that this movie bombed the box office, and this is the lowest grossing Transformers movie. I guess it's because of how the last night just destroyed everything that people didn't want to go see Transformers. It's either that or because of competition. I mean, why December release out of all release dates though? Why December? Why not summer 2018? Maybe August 2018. I mean, like that's like kind of summer or June, but maybe kind of flop in June because Jurassic World and Incredibles 2 comes out that month too, but yeah, you get my point. But yeah, it's sad to see Bumblebee. Or wait, if this movie came out in the fall season, like it kind of came out on October or November, because yeah, I mean, November was not a very good month for movies, especially with Ralph facing in the Grinch. Yeah. But it is what it is. It sucks that no one's watching this movie. It flopped hard at the box office, and it's just terrible, man. Cause I mean, it in a perfect world we're living in, this could have been the highest grossing Transformers movie, and people would have like gotten upset in such a hurry to see this movie for a different director helming Transformers and not Michael Bay. But to be fair, even Cool and the Two Strings was a box office bomb. Yeah, poor Travis Knight that doesn't make successful movies, but at least with this director, he puts his heart and soul into his movies. He doesn't rely on money. He doesn't care that his movies flop at the box office. And you can clearly see Travis Knight's heart and passion put into this movie. He seems like a true Transformers fan, making this masterpiece of a movie. Yeah, the opening scene on Cybertron is one of the best openings in the film, and quite possibly the best action scene in this franchise. Yeah, from the opening shot alone, you can clearly tell that this was not directed by Michael Bay, and it just felt so different from Michael Bay's Transformers movies. And the opening action scene on Cybertron was just beyond epic, and I just love that. And like, it's massive in scale. The beginning, yes, this movie is small in scale, but it opened with such a massive in scale fire battle, arguably the best action scene in the film. Well, is this the best scene in the film? Honestly, maybe, but I mean, but for sure my favorite scene is some of the Charlie Watson scenes. Like, I'll talk about that later on. I'm gonna save her for last because there's a lot else to talk about. But yeah, that Cybertron scene. Like, first of all, Cybertron looks drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, it looks so beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, this planet is like Cybertron. Wow, I am just speechless by how good this movie is. It looks just amazing, and I was like, and yeah, it looks so good. And this movie is the best visual effects worthy always. And it got nominated, and that Solo Star Wars story did. I don't hate Solo, but I don't think it's. But I think it probably is. It's honestly the worst looking Star Wars movie. It just doesn't have. It doesn't have like great visuals. Could have nominated something else. I would personally nominate this for best visual effects in Frozen Wars 2019. It's just gorgeous, and even the CGI of the Autobots just looks like amazing. It looks like they actually look like real Autobots, and they look like they're made by someone who is passionate about what he does, someone who's passionate about Transformers. And it just shows. And also maybe some people say the movie should focus on the war and Cybertron. It's really a great idea to make this prequel about how Transformers came to Earth by having Bumblebee be sent there to be the first to learn about the planet and learn about its people, and that's exactly what this movie is. It's a very simple story of an Autobot that well, learns about Earth and its people, and learns that humans can be either good or bad. And I like the concept. A very simple story that is just well executed. Yeah, people say that it is a ripoff from other films like Iron Giant and E.T., but hot take, I think this movie did it the best it could. When it comes to the human and robot storyline, I think this movie did it better than Iron Giant, and I know people are gonna hate me for that, and I know this review is kind of a hot take, but just bear with me. Yeah, it's a very simple story, but it's really deep and emotional. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, I mean, it's a lot deeper than you think, because it's about, both Bumblebee and Charlie Watson trying to understand one another's feelings. Charlie Watson understands, that Bumblebee is like a stranger to them, a very unusual thing that we see on Earth, and he cannot talk. Charlie Watson, and at the same time, Bumblebee tries to understand how Charlie Watson feels. I'll talk about her later on, because I got a lot to say about Charlie Watson. I mean, a lot of things to say, and a lot of things to say, and And yeah, the Decepticons are great. Now, I don't think they're the best Transformers villain. That goes to Sentinel Prime, but the two villains in this movie are I don't remember their names honestly, but they're really good. And I like that they have a great female villain and Queen Ramonda from Black Panther voicing the villain. That's kind of cool, honestly. Not gonna lie. And I think the voice, I think is great. Like Dylan O'Brien's voice acting as Bumblebee in the beginning, it's just really good. And this is probably my one of Dylan O'Brien's better performances, alongside All Too Well and the Maze Runner films. This is one of his best performances, and I love that. And and we also got to learn how Bumblebee lost his voice box. And it's just it didn't have to go like so complicated or ruin the lore. It's just as simple as a Decepticon tearing Bumblebee's voice box apart. Yeah, it didn't need to like ruin the lore. Just how a character lost his body part. Yeah, part. Yeah. Captain Marvel should have took notes of this with how Nick Fury lost his eye. I mean, it can be just as stupid as a cat scratching Bumblebee's voice, but I mean, yeah, they really should have just done better with how Nick Fury lost his eye. At least make it as simple as a scroll tearing, as someone like Young Rugga tearing, or like the Korea tearing Nick Fury apart, or maybe they should have explained how Nick Fury lost his eye in Secret Invasion, I guess. But I mean, Secret Invasion's almost out, so I'll talk more about that in my review of that film. But I'm just saying, I mean, but they do have something in common because it's mainly talking about, it's telling you guys how this all about how this character lost its body parts. Like one lost its its eye, and the other lost a voice box. So that kind of makes sense. And yeah, the human characters in this movie are also really good for the most part. But as much human characters as there is, they don't overshadow Bumblebee, because they know Bumblebee is the main character. So Bumblebee needed the most screen time, and he certainly had more screen time than the human characters. I'd say equal screen time to Charlie Watson, but yeah. But there is not a single annoying human character, not a single crazy jokes. Oh yeah, by the way, the humor in this movie is amazing, and I was actually laughing at every single humor. Like this movie does not have forced humor. It's comedic because it's lighthearted, and so it makes sense for this movie to have comedy to it. Like the scene when Bumblebee messes up the bully's house, and that deserves it, because the bully she's literally the Angela from Stranger Things of Transformers. Yeah, that was hilarious. And also Bumblebee is also really comedic, like considering that he doesn't talk like I mean it actually makes you it treats the audience with respect by making them get the joke. And it's a very simple joke. It's not like they're not very complex jokes, like like in a something like the Banshees of Inisherin, where you have to go deep into the jokes to be able to laugh at it. Not that kind of comedy. It's just simple comedy. You can just laugh without even understanding what the joke was. And even though even though I have a distaste for toilet humor in this movie, in movies, I think this movie did such a great job of making a toilet humor actually funny. Yeah, it's actually funny. But I know how that part where they used toilet paper to trash the bully's house. Yeah, that was a great scene right there. And also, yeah, Agent Burns is such a great anti-hero, like hero villain, that he does start off as a villain, but it was just the Decepticons brainwashing him just so they can take what they want. But Agent Burns is great as well, and John Cena this is one of his better performances. I'd honestly say that this is my second favorite John Cena performance, behind Peacemaker. Yeah, he's that great in this movie, and yeah, I just really enjoyed seeing him in this movie. And when he when he has villainous actions, he feels villainous. Like he's like a better villain in this movie than better quote unquote villain than in F9. Well, his character in this movie is very similar to Jacob, where he starts off as a villain but then becomes a hero at the end. Like saving the main character's life. So they're both very similar, but between Jacob and Burns, I say Burns is better to me. Um, who else is there to talk about? Oh yeah. Also because the sidekick Memo, who is such a great sidekick. I think he's such an underrated character. He's probably like one of the better characters in this movie. Top five, I'd say. And then we got the family. We got the family Otis, who to me personally is the weakest character in the movie. I mean, the weakest character, but he's a great character. And considering that he's played by the same actor as the fake Greg Heffley from Diary of a Wicked the Long Haul, he did such a great job in this movie, and way better than playing fake Greg Heffley in the wait of that the Long Haul movie or whatever that was. I mean, does that movie exist? And also, I think Ron is a good character. I don't love him because he's just kind of like back sideline, but sideline but there. But Sally, the mother, Sally Watson, she might be my second favorite character in the movie. Secondly, behind obviously Charlie Watson, the goat. But Sally is second. I mean, I love her character, and she's just such a great mother. Yeah, she's a great mother to Charlie Watson. I know she also has such a hard time as her mother, and this this subplot of Charlie's dad dying, and Sally was remarried, and she has a really hard life with Charlie Watson. We see like such hard relationships with I mean both Charlie and Sally have a hard time with each other, but I mean they both really try to understand each other. Their mother and daughter relationship in this movie is just so realistic, and it feels so realistic. It feels like an actual realistic relationship with each other. Yeah. And I should add as well. I mean, this movie did have a lack of action, but it's not bad at all. I mean, usually I don't like it when action movies have a lack of action, but when it comes to this movie, it's just non-stop fun from beginning to end. Even the moments of action, I was like kept smiling throughout. I was never bored once in this movie. I was never bored for a millisecond, um and yeah, this movie like just does not slow down. It's like this a car just running fast, and yeah. And I think one of the most helpful things about this movie is its short runtime. These Transformers movies tend to get too long. I mean, 2 hours and 20 minutes is kind of a fitting runtime for something like Michael Bay Transformers, but and then 2.5 hours. But then when it came to Age of Extinction, it got way overboard when it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, nearly 3 hours movies. And I am a fan of 3 hours movies, but Age of Extinction does not scream 3 hours. It does not fit for a 3 hour movie, because why would Age of Extinction be 3 hours long? I don't know, and whatever. And I was like thinking, well, what if the last night is actually like 3 hours long, like or surpassed 3 hours? Like I actually guessed that, but I mean I was glad that the last night was ended up being shorter and one of the shorter films in the franchise. I thought that would have helped, but no, it did not. It did not help one bit. It still like felt long. So having a short runtime really benefited. And when I saw this movie in theaters, it actually did feel long, but it's kind of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing because this movie because I just really wanted to see more from this movie, and I didn't want it to end. And when it comes to the runtime itself, even if it's 1 hour and 53 minutes long, it did not feel overshort at the same time. Because I really wanted to see more in this movie, but the credits rolled 5 minutes before the actual runtime. So the whole movie without the credits is basically 1 hour 48 minutes. I think that's a perfect runtime for a simple Transformers prequel about the relationship between Charlie Watson and Bumblebee trying to understand each other. And yes, and even the actions are great. The final battle of this movie is just epic, like just as good as the opening Cybertron scene, yeah. And Charlie Watson was such a badass without being a married suit, even though I don't like using that term. And speaking of Charlie Watson, I said everything that needed to be said, and now I'm gonna be saving the best aspect for last. Charlie Watson, I love her so much. In fact, she's the main reason to why I love this movie. Without the Charlie Watson or Haley Steinfeld, I don't know how I would have felt about this movie. Like if it would have felt the same, but as much as this is a Bumblebee movie, Charlie Watson is in the center of it all, making like she's really the heart of this movie. And dare I say, Haley Steinfeld is what saved the Transformers movies. Like how Anna Taylor-Joy saved Illumination in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, like that. But yeah, Haley Steinfeld is perfection in this. First, let me tell you a story about Haley Steinfeld. So yeah, now before I saw this movie, I didn't really know who Haley Steinfeld is, or at least I just didn't really care. I think I've heard the name before, but I didn't really care. I know she was in Pitch Perfect 3, but I didn't really give her much recognition. I didn't even know she was in Pitch Perfect. And then I saw Spider-Verse, and I saw it first before this one, but I didn't. And despite Haley Steinfeld being in it, I didn't really know the Haley Steinfeld voice like Gwen Stacy until I eventually found it later on. But I gotta say, you'll probably know Gwen Stacy is my favorite Haley Steinfeld role. Yeah, and she is. But at the time, my favorite character was actually Penny Parker. But now it's Gwen Stacy. But I still think Penny Parker's. I still defend Penny Parker. I think she's underrated. And what else can I say? But when I saw Bumblebee in theaters, that was when I found out about Haley Steinfeld. I was like, damn, Haley Steinfeld is hot. Like, yeah, Haley Steinfeld was actually my first celebrity crush, and I was like, maybe, wait, no, forget, I was saying something else, but whatever, never mind. Haley Steinfeld was my first celebrity crush, and I started having a crush on her through this movie, and so maybe, yeah, and now Haley Steinfeld is one of my favorite actresses of all time. Yeah, her Say and Jenna Ortega are the goat of celebrity. So they will always be my best celebrities. Period. Although Say and Jenna Ortega will always be on top, and Haley Steinfeld will be like third, I guess. But yeah, when it comes to this movie, Haley Steinfeld is phenomenal. This one, I mean, her acting in this movie is perfection, and she's obviously the best human character I've read about her. She puts Sam Witwicky to shame, and y'all know how much I hate Sam Witwicky. Charlie Watson is such a perfect character in every single way possible. First of all, Haley Steinfeld's acting, I honestly gotta admit, I think this is one of the single greatest Haley Steinfeld performances I have ever seen, period. Haley Steinfeld in this movie is just so perfect in this one. Such a even for a simple movie, she really went so hard with her acting, and she is what made this movie have heart and emotion. Like, and when the movie does get emotion, that's when she really hit the hardest. And especially when I see her cry, I feel her cries and her cries, and I kind of want to cry to her. Like, scenes, scenes like how Bumblebee was shut down for a bit until like Haley Steinfeld was really upset, and she tried to bring Bumblebee back. Yeah, that scene was amazing, and that scene was amazing, and I really cried that scene. But and also we got Haley Steinfeld, Charlie Watson is saying goodbye to Bumblebee, and then we see them hugging, and I really felt that. Like, I was crying happy tears. Yeah, that's like it really sucks that uh, Charlie Watson and Bumblebee like separated, and we might not see Charlie Watson ever again. And that's probably my only negative for this movie. The fact that Charlie Watson and Bumblebee had that Charlie Watson let Bumblebee go, so and so that they would never see each other again, and we wouldn't and we might not see Charlie Watson ever return. I wish Charlie Watson stayed with Bumblebee, but I mean, it was kind of deserving, I guess. She let Bumblebee go free on his own, I guess. But hopefully we see Charlie Watson back. Yeah, I miss her already. But her character arc, but Charlie Watson's character development in this movie just feels so personal, and it's just seeing how she feels like she almost gave up on her life after her father died, and sadly is remarried to someone named Ron. And everything. And Charlie Watson was someone who had passion, like who had talent, who had something in her life until her father died. She really had that, the feeling of emptiness, the feeling of depression, the feeling that she just feel like she just gave up her life, and she's just trying to do the most boring things ever. But the moment she met Bumblebee really changed her life, and changed her life, and had someone who understood how she felt. Yeah, and seeing Bumblebee protect Charlie Watson just really makes me happy every time I see that. The banter between Charlie Watson and Bumblebee, one of the greatest chemistries ever to put on film. This is why I think I prefer this movie over Iron Giant E.T. because I felt the chemistry war, and the movie had a very personal character arc for Charlie Watson and yes, seeing her go from that, but even though she had Bumblebee by her side, she still felt down by her father's death, and she gave up. She was the champion of diving, but she gave up diving after her father's death because she feels it's no use. And you see people bullying her for not wanting to dive, and just trying to give up on her father's life. Yeah, it really feels. It really sucks to see Charlie Watson like that, but we see her grow as a character, and all thanks to Bumblebee, she grew as a character. When she dived, when she didn't want to dive, yeah, she was afraid, and we even see Charlie Watson in her having trauma over it. When a bunch of guys challenged her to dive because she was a diver, but then she had a fear of diving, not because she had a fear of heights, but because of her flashbacks to her dad's death, and her dad was the motivation of and her dad was the motivator. He motivated Charlie Watson to die, but without him, Charlie Watson feels left out, and Bumblebee pretty much feels like her new family. Very similar to Isabella and the archetype of he was, but in Transformers Last Night, similar to that, but just more in depth. And her mother pretty much moved on, but Charlie Watson really doesn't want to move on. And you really, I felt that when Charlie Watson just said to her mom, you really don't know what it feels like to move on from her father's death, something like that. From father's death, from father's death. She may have moved on, but she doesn't understand how she feels, and she just runs away like that. Yeah. I'm sure people are absolutely gonna relate to Charlie Watson. I don't know if I would personally relate to Charlie Watson. I'm not sure. It's kind of debatable, but people who lost their parents and feel like their lives are lost without their either parent, they're definitely going to relate to Charlie Watson in such a personal way. Yeah, that's the thing about this movie. It feels like a very personal movie, and you really feel her arc. And she gets to be a hero at the end. She gets to actually save Bumblebee's life. I think the scene when Charlie Watson dives in the water and saves Bumblebee's life might be my favorite scene, my personal favorite scene in the entire film. It feels so satisfying to see Charlie Watson just saving Bumblebee's life like that, and it required diving because Bumblebee was about to drown, and yeah, that was just an amazing scene right there, and I really felt that, and even her lines are amazing. When she said about Bumblebee, he's more human than you'll ever be. When she said that to the alien birds, I felt that saying, saying that a robot can be more human than a bad human being. I truly felt that. So yeah, this movie is just wow. And I would say that this might be my third favorite Haley Steinfeld role, right behind Kate Bishop. No, Gwen Stacy and Kate Bishop, and Charlie is my second favorite character in 2018. Second only behind the second only behind Gwen Stacy, of course. So yeah, and I would certainly, and I might, and I could actually give her my Frozen Awards to 2019 for Best Actress. If I did an award, I would actually award Haley Steinfeld for Best Actress in this movie. Well, not animated voice actress, but of course I give her the award for I'm sure you know what I mean by that. And with this and Spider-Verse coming out not just the same year but same month, I feel like 2018 is Haley Steinfeld's year. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dickens' Son also came out. Oh wait, no, that was 2019. Love Dickens' Son as well. I think that show is underrated and I recommend it. It's also a Haley Steinfeld show. So overall, Bumblebee is a masterpiece. Saying this is the best Transformers movie is not doing it justice. This is a perfect Transformers movie, and I feel like a Transformers fanboy, like through watching this movie. This is the true the one true Transformers movie right here. It is it has a very simple story while trying to stay true to Transformers, and even if it is very similar to other, it has a very familiar story. It's just it's executed in the best way possible by having Charlie Watson just by having a deep deep story, a very personal story, and a very personal character development from Haley Steinfeld. Such great action scenes, great visuals, and all around. I mean, just it feels like a personal movie to me. I have a huge soft spot for this movie, and I think this movie deserved far better. So yeah, and it is certainly in my top 25 favorite movies of all time list. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna give Bumblebee a 10 out of 10. Yeah, so that's all for my review of Bumblebee. What is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me on this movie is a masterpiece and the greatest Transformers movie period? Or do you not care about this movie and find it overrated? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on Transformers Rise of the Beast. I know it's not going to top Bumblebee as the best Transformers movie. I already know it won't. But fingers crossed this can be my second favorite Transformers movie and can be superior to all the Michael Bay Transformers movies. So yeah, bye guys.